So many times people get offended. But if we all listen, I'm sure life would be so much more simple. Our stories are told us using many of our animals, such as the bear, the wolf, the buffalo. I'm glad that the poet chose the eagle to use as the foundation of her story, to remind us that children are always important. Tweet, I loved this piece of writing. It is a great reminder on parenting. Sometimes we tend to forget that we can't mistreat our children, nor neglect them. Share this story, is what I'm told. Interesting. Share this story, is what I'm told. And they had no idea that that's what the whole story is about. The title, My Precious Little Eagle Feathers. The reason I chose this title is because the poem is using the feathers as an analogy for our children, who are precious. My definition of heal, it means to overcome the trauma that you have experienced in your life. Letting go of hurts, pains, the negative, injuries, and remembering how to live in a healthy way. That's a lot to comment on, but we'll invite you to do so, Ms. Pruter.
To me, it's a beautiful teaching that comes from a beautiful teaching. It's really perceptive and profound.
You're saying what that member wrote is a beautiful teaching that comes from the beautiful teaching of that piece of writing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, I'm so lucky.
Well, we invite you to comment on that. And it's always up to you if you want to say if you wrote it. So, comments, questions. The only wrong question is the unasked question, because our time is quickly moving on now, folks. Please. Ms. Roan?
What? Yes?
Yeah, have any of you ever seen a film called Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah.
Now, that film epitomizes the nightmare of a teacher. And for me, I love watching that film. Because in the classroom, all of a sudden, you know, the teacher's trying to get some energy going among the students. And do you remember what happens? Ask if there's a question. Anyone? Anyone? Do you remember that part? That's the teacher's worst nightmare. Anyone? Anyone? Do you folks have a question? Please. Make the most of the moment.
I don't really have a question, but I really think that should be like put on a plaque and framed for everybody to relate to.
That's an excellent idea. And of course, it came from one of your fellow seminar members.
And I want to know who.
I think they identified themselves.
It's me.
I knew it.
How did you know on these twins?
Well, because the young single mom is here. And I'm a single mom too, so.
Well, I'm not a single mom anymore, but you know, I've experienced being a single
Yeah.
mom.
wasn't
But I
a
also
lot
know
of
the
those-
importance of teaching our kids right from wrong, right? And
Yeah.
how society is the way it is because a lot of parents forgot that or weren't taught that. So,
Yeah.
and it really, your poem on that really, when I read it, it just warmed my heart. It just made me proud, you know. So, yeah, I love it.
Well, since we're in the context of entrepreneurship, who agrees with the idea of Ms. Lee that with the permission of the author, and of course it would take permission because it's a matter of intellectual property, that actually be framed and everybody have a copy and frame it and have it in their home. That teaching on the teaching of the feathers. That would be in the entrepreneurial spirit to do that.
I would agree with that,
I would agree.
but I'd rather that it's not my story, right? And it isn't her story. She's told it now many times. And, like, parts of it is me, because I wrote that other part in there. But that isn't even me, because everything that we are comes from the past. So, I would, yeah.
I want to throw that out to as a challenge to the Change It Up group. That you take these writings that we've just had and frame it. And as a, oh, that's neat. Did he just do that? Yeah, he
He's
has
off
a
to a dental.
appointment.
You want to shake my hand?
He's going to get a molar pulled out.
Or not?
That's my brother.
Is it? Tell him to shake his hand.
Think of that, folks. Think of following up on that idea. It'd be part of the entrepreneurial spirit to do that.
Have you received any cultural backlash from telling stories about the feather, anything to do with the cultural aspects of it?
No. No, I haven't. But I did write a book, it's called, just when I think about that, it's called, She Walks for Days, Inside 1,000 Eyes, a Two-Spirit Story. It's a whole book, like it's a long story. And they call it poetry, so it's not selling. But I got a little bit from that, but only from one place. Because it has stories, and I got permission to tell them, but it's still, it really bothers people sometimes when they see a story with their people that is from a non-member of that nation. So even though I got permission to tell them, I'm only getting it from the elders, but it doesn't mean it's not going to offend somebody. So,
My dad always says, look at the message, not the messenger. And I think that's really important for everybody to consider. Everybody has something to offer.
and I mean, some of our stories are protected, and there are stories that aren't, but other ones are meant to be.
Well, here's the same story, but a different member of the seminar. One word, respect. I like that. Reminds me of Aretha Franklin. One sentence. We were chosen. One paragraph. How a person treats their eagle feathers is how they treat their children. Our children chose us, not the other way around. It is the same with the stories. They choose us. And it is how we are going to treat those stories. How can we learn from our children and from our stories? It is true. How you treat your children is how they will treat others. They are a miniature version of ourselves. How we speak to them is how they will speak to others. There is no such thing as bad kids, just bad parents. Some of our kids are disrespectful because of their parents. Their parents are like that to them because that is how they were treated as children themselves. They were treated like this in the residential schools. How do we break the cycle? How do we begin the healing? Our children are our greatest teachers because the child speaks the truth. They are the honest beings in our world, and our children are our future. If we raise them with respect, then they will respect others. As a mother, I will do anything to protect my child from harm. But At the same time, they need to learn to walk on their own. We teach them the basic skills and knowledge on how to get through life, and we hope that they can make the most of it. It is the same with the stories. It's our responsibility to care for our stories, how they are being told, how they are treated. How you treat your eagle feathers is how you treat your children and your stories. Our children are us, and they are our teachers. Title, My Eagle Feathers. I chose this because the first part of the story is about how you treat your eagle feathers is how you treat your children. So, my eagle feathers is my children. My definition of heal, the ability to let old wounds recover and to let the pain go. How would you respond to that, Ms. Pruitt?
Well, the first thing that comes to me is that I wish that when I was young, like when I was a young mother, I wish that I could have read something. You know, I think it would have really helped me to, I guess maybe grounded me. I guess it's kind of grounding. It's very, it says so much in such a short paragraph. That'd be a good thing to put on your fridge. Yeah, it's very, very. The way that they weave the stories and the children and the feathers together is if, you know, it's called feather. And, so, it's beautiful.
Well, whoever wrote it, we invite them if they want to say who they are and want to pursue the dialogue. Would you like to elaborate a little more, Ms. Cryer, on it?
Sorry. It makes me emotional. Because it's true. I had a hard time with my first son. I didn't treat him good. But I am learning now, so I need to set him with a good path for him. So, something like that.
Well, thank you for sharing that. There's one thing about this week that we've had together. It's what I call reality-based education. No one's helped by pretending we don't have any problems. The real challenge in life is to face those problems, to name them, to call them what they are, and to deal with them. And part of the dealing with them is to get it out there through the words. And that's what you've done. I have to say it's remarkable. I've done this for 21 years. Never have I had a group where each person said, I wrote that. Never, never, never. So we're breaking new ground here. And remember what we said at the very beginning? All we're looking for is honesty. It really is the best policy. Questions, comments, observations as our time is quickly going by. We invite you.
Okay, I would just like to say thank you so much for sharing that. Very personal. And I think it tells a lot of our stories, you know. And like even my mom too, you know, she was raised in such violence in foster care. And then we knew her mom, and they were just pulled out of the home, you know, because they were, you know, they were just the brown kids who were living in the city. You know, living in white foster homes on farms where they got treated really bad. And then we knew our grandmother, she suffered all those years because she didn't have kids. She found out where they were. She could already see them. They never knew her. So, but we knew her better than our mom did. And, to learn from our moms and dads. I mean, your generation, thank you. There's so many of you. Thank you for being here, and especially the younger ones, who you're going to be, you are our future leaders. You all are future leaders. And I'm not really that old, but the little ones think I'm really. But then they think teenagers are old. But to recognize, like if there's one thing that we can do as people, is we are capable of change.
Change it up.
Yeah. The program is called Hey. So, and we have that ability.
To break the cycle and to break new ground.
400 Eagle Women.
Well, it's the same piece of writing, but get a load of this, Miss Prucher. One word, interesting. One sentence. I really like this poem. It is my most favorite one because it is another teaching, and I love to learn. One paragraph. Incidentally, as an educator, I love to hear that expression. I love to learn. One paragraph. This story reminds me of my own family, whom I don't speak with. They taught me things without even speaking to me. I learned not to hate, to accept people the way they are, and not hold grudges because people make mistakes. I learned that your past will always stay in the past, and you should learn from it, and that not everything is your fault. Things happen for a reason. I've learned some of the most important lessons from my family because they do the exact opposite. They talk about you behind your back for no apparent reason. So this poem makes me realize that I must forgive my family as well as accept them. And that they're in my life for a reason. But they should smarten up for their kids. Stream of consciousness. This poem makes me feel calm and understanding of the world around me. I am not a parent, though I know I will be one day. I had a dream that I had a son the Creator gave me one night. Although I somewhat know what it feels like to have children and to care for them, love them, and sometimes discipline them, I pretty much raised my two brothers and taught them how to love, to give them the attention they needed. Now I cannot live without my brother because they shaped me as a person, not to be angry quickly and to have patience. That having a sister or a brother is a relationship until death, until the next life. I miss my brothers every day. I miss them so much, it makes me want to cry. I have an eagle feather given to me by one, since no one else is stepping up. Oh, excuse me. I have an eagle feather given to me as an award I once received. It was for being a young leader in this Hobbema community. And I do want to be one, since no one else is stepping up. For a long time, I left my eagle feather in the wooden box I received it, so as to keep it protected. But I finally hung it up. It seems to flutter sometimes from being blown or something, but there is no air or draft, which mystifies me. Just like this poem. The Tweed children are gifts from the Creator. Tweed, love your life. Title, The Creator's Gifts. I chose to name it this way because the poem is pretty much about children, and eagle feathers come from eagles who are said to be our ancestors manifested. My definition of heal, to become balanced, happy, and joyous again. To be able to be balanced in the medicine wheel. To be from sickness to health, sadness to happiness, pain to relief, and to move from grief to understanding.
Wow. You know, listening to that, it really got me, you know how sometimes it's hard to listen to something because your own thoughts are getting in the way? And I have to keep coming back to listening because it was making me think about my sister and my sisters and something that's happened in my own life. And something that can do that. You know, there's such a difference between something that's written and you read it, and then you hear it. You know? And because I don't know, like, woo-hoo, just hearing that. You know, a lot of times when I'm here today, I can't even tell you how many times I've had goosebumps. Just listening to the words. And, oh, hi. This is my ride.
Wait, please, come join the circle.
She likes to ride my little red pony. My name is Sandy Smokey.
Thank you for coming.
Day today.
Yeah.
And you're?
Corn nuts.
Oh, I like that name even better.
But anyways, I just really learned a lot from hearing that, what I just heard. And I was telling, I just told him that just what I just heard, which you didn't hear, but it made me think of my sister. That I was telling you that story on the way here. And I have the opportunity to see a sister this weekend that I haven't seen for 24 years.
Wow. It's big.
And I'm told I look just like her. And she's older than me. And in 1989, when I wrote that book that I told you about, called Where the Rivers Join, I didn't, my family didn't read it or anything, but writing it gave me the courage to go and speak to my dad about my childhood. But when that happened, he banished me from the family, and then everybody, my sisters and brothers, all banished me also, and my kids. So we haven't been a part of my family, which is a big family and a close family, which we were. So you know that that's a big secret in the family plan. And but it was so many years of so much grief, and to just meet my sister that way. I'm going to Vancouver. My niece is in Victoria, like the kids, the nieces and nephews have contacted me, but not the parents. So to go, all I can think of is I'm going to go to my nieces. I'm not going to have a car. I'm going to be on Vancouver Island, you know, blah, blah, blah. And do I want to go see my sister for the first time in 24 years and not be able to drive away and it'll be real quick. And then I'm thinking, as I listen to that though, I learned something. And what I learned is, like even growing up, my grandmother used to tell us, like I think I even said this to you today, you must do all the stuff that your, I don't know if I did or not, but your brothers, the way that I was raised is that if you have children, their dad is actually your brothers, not the dad. Because you can always get a new husband, but you can never get a new brother. So the brother is always the dad, the grandpa of the children, your children. And just the importance of family, for right, wrong, or whatever, you know. So now I'm thinking if I have the opportunity to see my sister, then I should darn well do it. Gee!
And that's a result of having just heard that piece of writing
Yes.
by one of the seminar members here.
Yes. So whoever you are, thank you. Aww. See you healer, you.
It was actually really tough to write. Really tough to write. So I had to, in order to heal, because I went through something, I had to be in a good place in my life. You know, you can't get better if the things still bugging you. So for my own good, to survive, I had to be away from everything. It's tough to do that. But when you go back to that, you know who are the ones who will always be there for you. Those are the ones that love you back as much as you love them.
We talked last week, remember, about getting chronological distance and psychological distance. And that can do us a lot of good. So I can understand what you're saying there, Ms. Rattlesnake. Now, folks, we have one last unit, but I think we need to get a little fresh air. So this time we'll take a 5-minute break. Please keep it to 5.
It's 10. That was the last thing. I don't know how long you took that.
Yeah, take 5, as Dave Brubeck would say.
Why not? Because I know Lila, have you done presentations? No.
I actually did it by hand right home.